William Byron's crew chief, Rudy Fugle. What's up, man?
Hey guys, I appreciate you having me on. It's been a while. It's always fun joining you.
Thanks for joining us. Let's get right after it, man. What about New Hampshire? What's the most challenging part about it, and what are your chances this weekend?
Yeah, no, I really like New Hampshire. It's got a lot of things balled up into one. You know, it takes a lot of mechanical grip. You got to be good over the brakes, and then you got to have good shock package and spring package to get over the bumps, especially into turn 3. It's one of the more challenging braking parts in all of NASCAR. So, and then you got a flat corner, which it's hard to get it turned and going the other way and put the power down. So, a lot of challenges that if you get the car right, you can be pretty good and stand out. You know, so that's what you enjoy as a crew chief is taking that challenge and trying to stand out. So, this car especially seems to. It's really hard to get a handle on the flat tracks, and get a feel for it. But we've had enough of them this year that we've learned on and feel really good going into this weekend.
Rudy, mixed results at Atlanta Motor Speedway for Hendrick Motorsports. Of course, you get the win with Chase Elliott, but I know for your team it didn't go the way you wanted. And really, since the wins at Atlanta and Martinsville earlier this year, you guys have run well, but the results don't really indicate it. When I asked William Byron about that before Atlanta, and he seemed like, hey, we're in good spirits. We know it's just a matter of the luck turning. What are you telling the team right now? And do you sort of feel the same way, that if you just get a little bit of luck, the timing works out a little bit better, you guys are going to start reeling off top 5s and maybe some wins again?
Yeah, no, it's been a tough stretch to keep everybody motivated and going, and working hard. But we have great people here, so having speed is super important. We've come back from the break, and just had some terrible luck, but we've shown speed during those races, passed a lot of cars, ran up front, led a lot of Atlanta, and then I can go through every single race and tell you what went wrong, but so can everybody else. So it's all about results. We all know that. So. But from a team aspect and from a building aspect and making sure you're ready for the playoffs, it's about what makes the cars go fast, what makes the right adjustments during the race. Are you building the right team for car preparation, for pit stop, and how you adjust during those pit stops and that kind of stuff. And that's what I think we're doing really, really well. So we're building on all of those things, and I feel like the 24 team is getting stronger. We just the results haven't shown it yet, and it's time to show up and do that. So hopefully this weekend will be the time to do it, and feel really, really good about it. Loudon should transfer over to Richmond, and then to Phoenix for finale, and hopefully we're racing for a championship at that point. So very important race for gathering information. You don't have to win it. You have to leave here knowing lots of good things and be able to get better.
Definitely very interesting. Rudy, I think you and William Byron have one of the most interesting driver-crew chief relationships, I think, in the sport because of kind of how you guys have joined up in the Cup Series. You look back, you're successful in the Truck Series, you separate for a while, you rejoin together in the Cup Series. And this year I feel like, there's some things he's been doing that I know you're a fan of, which is going out there and racing late models. And it seems like he's had so much success there that's been translated to the Cup Series. I just feel like you've been a big influence in making him, helping him go do that and sort of inspiring him to do that. What is it about your relationship that you guys sort of developed in the Truck Series, have taken the Cup Series and sort of used throughout all the different motorsports he's going and doing right now, or different racing he's doing?
Well, first of all, I got to say congrats to you and Chris Carrier and that whole 75 team. That was an awesome win. I'm so proud of you, and you've been a good friend over the years, and Chris is a great friend, so super proud of you. But, for William and I mean, it's probably a relationship similar to what you and Chris have. We're not best friends. We don't go to movies and go to dinner and do all those things, but we trust each other. We know each other, and we have each other's backs no matter what. And I know and believe that no matter what happens, if I give him a good enough car and a good enough team behind him, that he can do the right things. And he believes the same thing out of me, that if he gives me the right feedback, that we can get better and do the right things. So that trust is what's bred everything, And then this off season, and probably the tail end of last year, just talked about how much, with less track time in Cup, how much fun it is running different series. And, I think as a Cup driver, there's always a little bit of worry of, oh, I'm going to go and run bad and everybody's going to laugh at me or whatever, and so you have to get past that and know that it's for fun, B, it's to get better, and C, it's like no matter where we're going to race, it's the best, the best. You're racing against Bo Pollard and Ty Majeski and Fenhouse last night and Matt Kenseth and 40 guys from Wisconsin that are just phenomenal racers, and to be able to kick butt like he did last night. He struggled for a day and a half and sat on the pole and then go win that race. It was one of the most exciting endings you'll see. So I'm super proud of him for stepping out of his comfort zone and pushing his limits. And that's what's huge. A lot of guys do that in different ways, but they don't always do it in front of a crowd, right? You don't do it in front of everybody who, if you go up there and miss the show, which good people, Cup drivers could go miss the show at Slinger, like most people that don't know how hard it is are going to laugh at you. And you have to get past that. And he's done that, and it's paid off. And he's a way more complete driver this year, and it's just going to keep growing.
That's awesome.
Hey, Rudy, I want to ask you, looking ahead to this weekend at New Hampshire, and we kind of hear that about shifting is going to be another key aspect, and maybe potentially, I guess, are guys going to be shifting twice in a corner or something like that? How much shifting is going to go on, and how might that impact the racing and even decisions or things that you'll do on the box during the race on Sunday? Yeah,
for sure. I mean, like most tracks, you're gonna downshift at least once every corner. And then there's definitely a possibility of shifting down to third, later in the run, or, it might work out if you're running the bottom that's the way to go. We're going to have to live and learn on, we all kind of know where we're going to be at for pace and whatnot, but that overall lap time that we run because of track grip and different reasons, the heat in the track is what will determine, what gear if we get down to third. So that's 2 downshifts every corner, 2 upshifts on every straightaway. That's a lot of times to make a mistake, and a lot of that, the hard part of that is like doing some of that under those braking zones over the bumps and the car's out of control, and it makes you miss the corner, and you see people doing that in qualifying and whatnot when they're pushing really hard. But it also makes it a lot harder to pass too. Guys that are struggling can use that downshift as a little bit of a handicap. It helps rotate the car. You have more RPM, so it turns on the throttle better. It turns on the downshift. So that's some of the short track where it's harder to pass at times. You're better than a guy clearly, but that guy has learned how to make his car better. So it's a tool for the driver when he's struggling to be able to downshift. So definitely expect to shift every single corner, every lap, and some laps too.
That's why I love this show, because a guy like Rudy Fugle can come in here and break down what it takes to win New Hampshire. And I mean, seriously, like those things are how you win it. And on that topic, Rudy, like the braking into turn 3 is one of the most challenging braking zones on an oval in all of racing. With this car, is the braking going to be able to go past that bump into 3, or are you going to be right on top of it right on top of that bump when you brake?
Sorry, my stand here.
Did we hit a bump on your desk real quick?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. But so I think that's what's going to be really interesting for qualifying, because I think in practice you're going to be able to modulate that brake pressure and just roll a little bit more speed or do some different things and manage that bump and get a good feel for it, and that's how the race will go. Qualifying is what I'm really super interested in, is because that's when you're going to want to pick up that half second, whatever it is, to go faster. And as from a driver's standpoint, the first thought is I'm just going to get in harder, and that's where I think that'll be the biggest thing to watch in qualifying. Both corners, but turn 3 especially is watching how that works out and who makes that mistake. Because if the way we've kind of talked about, we blow tires at different tracks. And you guys have heard about internal bump stops and the shocks and stuff like that. Well, we're running so close to those, or you're on them, and then you hit the brakes just a little bit harder, and the next thing you know, you excite the car and it bounces like crazy and you're up a groove. And then and like I said, once you get in practice in the race, most of that stuff will become second nature, and the driver just knows to handle it. But qualifying, you're going to see a lot of guys, I think, miss that or overstep it, and should be interesting.
And you mentioned qualifying, how important it is, because often track position is really important. We've seen that be really important in some of these tracks of this car. So talk to me about What have you guys been working on for passing here at New Hampshire? I know you've probably spent some time in the sim with William and looked at different things and what you've learned maybe when you look back at Gateway and some of these other tracks like this where you've said, okay, this is what we really need to be focused on if we are further back in the pack as how we're going to pass. Like, what is that? Some of the things that stick out to you?
Yeah, no, we spent a lot of time this week. It's a good point on how to identify, what parts of the track make the most lap time. So where the fast cars all are fast. We break the track down into segments and say, hey, entry, early entry, middle, wherever. These parts of the corner make lap time. All the fast cars that are making laps make it here. And then we also have some analysis on, hey, the most passes are made in this part of the corner. So you kind of know, like, okay, to go fast, I need to be good here. And to make passes, I need to be good here, because sometimes they're in different spots. So, one thing sets up the other. So we spend some time talking about that, showing that, making sure we have focus on it. So when we go to the sim, we can say, okay, we can give up this part of the corner a little bit to gain in other parts of the corner, and then, qualifying's big, a lot of getting that pit stall, So with the pit stops being so competitive on pit road, being faster, the slow stops to the fast stops are tighter, and getting in the stall the correct way, and leaving the stall is huge, So the easiest way to pass 40 years ago and going to be 40 years from now is on pit road, So that's what you kind of really we got to do a better job qualifying. We've done a poor job at that lately, and that's a main focus for us this week.
Well, Rudy, by the way, get your fuel mileage tuned in as well, because that's pretty important at New Hampshire. We really appreciate your candor, your honesty, kind of pulling the curtain back a little bit, because that was an incredible amount of information. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks, guys. Sorry for the phone falling there, but always good to be on here.
Our viewers are used to those things on this show, so we appreciate it. That was a fascinating
it was great information.
It really was.
Like you and Stevie always say, like when a guy comes out and gives you that much information about shifting, even I understand it. So great stuff.
Just awesome. But when we come back, we're going to get some more callers, and we're going to have some Xfinity talk. Good Xfinity race last week and an important one this coming week.